Alrighty, what is up, everybody? This is Marshall Lee of Donkey Jaw Projects, and I am here with Mr. Chris McQuinlan for the checkup, the
Hey.
making comics checkup that we do. Um, and yeah, we missed a week, but we're back, and we just had things going on. How you doing, Chris?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm definitely a lot better than last week. I've been fighting a virus for going on 3 weeks now,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm definitely in a better place now. But yeah, the last couple of weeks have been pretty rough.
You get some antibiotics or something?
Nah, it wasn't really a lot I can do except for rest.
Yeah.
It worked out really well in a bad way because I had a whole week, like I had a week off work that I'd
Mm-hmm.
booked in months ago. So as soon as I started my holidays, I started to get sick, and I just sort of rode this weird wave of sickness for the whole time that I was off work. So yeah, it was
Wow.
kind of bittersweet, but yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, it didn't seem like you were doing too well when we were talking about doing the hangout last week. So I'm
Yeah, it
glad you
was
got
funny. Like I
some
was still
rest.
just like a bit sick, and then the day afterwards, I woke up with conjunctivitis, which was like a side effect of the virus that I had. So I got
Mm.
like after going back to work for one day, I got another 2 days off work. So and
Wow.
like, conjunctivitis, like it's not bad. It's just sort of a little bit irritating. So
Mm-hmm.
it didn't really feel I wasn't sick. So I was just stuck at home because it was so contagious. Like I couldn't be in an office environment. So I kind of just got like an extra 2 days off to just relax and actually rest, which was good. It was yeah, I kind of needed it. Was kind of
Mm.
like Palmer was saying, here's a couple of bonus days off for ruining your holidays.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's like it's still there a little bit. It's just one of those viruses that just lingers around. But I'm a lot better. Definitely a lot better. Just sort of dealing with like a annoying cough and stuff.
Yeah.
How about you, man? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Just keeping busy. Luckily, I haven't been sick. I haven't been sick for. I don't think I was even sick at all last winter, and so I'm doing all right. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it is, but I need to. I think it has to do with diet, but I haven't been sticking to it, so I don't know. But
Yeah.
I don't
Definitely
know.
need to get my diet back on track. Would probably make a huge difference for me. So
Yeah.
just love them donuts too much, man.
I used to get sick like 2 or 3 times, well, sometimes even more every winter. But I don't know. Been doing all right the last year or so, so that's good.
Well, hopefully you can keep up the good record.
Yeah, man. So speaking about keeping up the good work, well, you've been sick. How has your work been keeping up?
Surprisingly good. I still managed to get a bit of work done. Um, Most of it was like there wasn't a lot of actual drawing involved. Like there was a little bit, but nothing too strenuous. It was just doing some layouts and things, just real basic stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but I did manage to get the book finished
Wow.
and get that off to the printers, which was awesome. Working on the Kickstarter for the book and doing a bit of client work because I'm back on that children's book as well. So like it wasn't hugely productive, but I still got some stuff done, which was good. And
Yeah.
yeah, do we just want to kick straight into like the progress now?
Yeah.
'Cause
Might
I
as
have
well. I
something
guess
really cool I want to
we'll
share.
do the full 2 weeks, I guess, right?
Yeah. So yeah, the first week was really like it was sort of my screen's up now. Um, yeah, it was like I still managed to do stuff. Like I was on holidays, so me and my family still went out and did stuff. Like we went down to like Phillip Island, which is like a bit of a getaway spot, and yeah, did some cool stuff there. They've got like a Willy Wonka style chocolate factory. We took April there, and that was heaps of fun. Um, so like it was sort of a mixture of trying to get some artwork in, at the same time as just sort of dealing with life and, you know, trying to enjoy the time with the family as well. So doing a bit of life admin and relaxation and drawing. So it was a real sort of mishmashy, jam-packed week.
Mm-hmm.
The next week was a bit more productive. I finalized everything for issue 1 to go to print, so I can get a proof from the printers. I managed to finish off the layouts for the first, I think it's the first 14 pages of Monkey Junk Chapter 2.
Wow.
And on top of that, I finished page 1 of Chapter 2. So
awesome.
that'll actually be going up on my Patreon today, after we do this episode. So last week was far more productive. I got heaps done. I also did some work on the children's book. But what I really want to show you guys, this arrived yesterday, and for those of you who don't follow my Instagram, probably haven't seen it. But I got the proof back for Monkey Junk in all of its printed glory. So I actually have 2 proofs. So 2 guys. One of them is, I think I talked about this a little while ago about the different paper qualities. One of them is done with newsprint. So as you know, Marsh, Alterna Comics do newsprint style comic books, which are that sort of olden style paper. It's got like that grey tone to it. It's quite light, and it's got more of a traditional look to it. This one is done with what most standard comics are using now, like a sort of 110 matte paper, which is a little bit heavier, super bright white. As you can sort of see, I mean, video doesn't really do it justice. But I wanted to see what the difference would be with the 2 of them, and also show a few people and get their opinions. But the newsprint's definitely winning. Everyone seems to like the newsprint over the standard paper. It's lighter. It looks better. I don't know what it's going to be cost-wise. And it does have like a gloss cover just for a little bit of extra stability. But yeah, so happy with how the proofs came out that now I just need to get a quote for how much this will cost. And then I can get the Kickstarter up and running, which could potentially be by the end of the week, which is super exciting.
That's crazy. So
yeah, so I'm very excited.
I'm surprised that they print on newsprint, because I know usually people, you know, if you want to go newsprint, the best way, like the only way you can generally do it, I thought, was to go to like a place that does that exclusively, you know.
Well, these guys are the same company who printed Nevermorrow, and you've seen the quality of Nevermorrow. When I did Nevermorrow, I asked them then if they could do newsprint, and they said no. They didn't have the capabilities to do it. It was maybe a few months after Nevermorrow came out, one of my friends did his comic in entirely newsprint. I asked him where he got it, and he said it was my printer. So when Monkey Junk came around, I asked the question, and they said, yeah, we can do it. That's fine. But a funny story is, just as I put the proof in to get this printed, they just recently discovered that their supplier had changed the quality of newsprint. So they were going with a new manufacturer, I think. So they weren't even sure whether or not this one would actually work through their printers or not. So this was actually a test run for them as well as it was, you know, for me. So they said it runs through fine, and they'll be able to do a full run of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I imagine it's just running through a digital printer. So as far as how they're dealing with the paper running through the printers without getting damaged or tearing or whatever, I don't know. I'm just thankful that they can do it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
That's exciting, man. That's
awesome.
And
I'm really excited because I feel like when people actually get this comic, they're going to be really surprised with the quality, and hopefully they'll feel, you know, that, you know, some effort has actually gone into the decision making of making this book rather than just you know, I've made a book, I sent it off to the printer, and now I'm selling it. Like, you know, I'm enjoying this process just as much, and I hope that resonates through to the readers as well.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's come up nice.
Sure.
Some of those more detailed pages came up pretty good as well.
That's so awesome.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead and show that again. Talk a little bit.
yeah. I'll get to sort of one of the more detailed pages. Like that was sort of one at the end. So this is all like a kind of a really weird timing too, because online, Monkey Junk issue 1 has just wrapped up on Webtoons as well. So for anyone who's been reading on there, everything's up to date now, which is really cool. So
That's awesome. So
yeah,
one thing I feel like I'm noticing by looking at it is it looks like page count wise, it looks a little thin. Or do you plan on adding like anything extra things in the back, or is it going to be pretty simple? Or I mean, it might just be thin because you know I'm looking through a weird camera and stuff.
yeah,
But
it's 20 pages, but the book itself is 24 pages, including cover. So yeah, you've got 20-page comic, couple of there's like some concept artwork and stuff in the back, and then there's also like a bonus comic, which is only in the comic as well. So like that won't be on Webtoons. It's sort of like a little addition for anyone who actually buys the comic. So it's sort of standard, I suppose, but it definitely is a little bit thinner with the newsprint. So in comparison, I don't know how well you'll be able to tell. So that's, I don't know if you can actually see it. Yeah. So that's the same book, just different paper quality.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it definitely looks thinner because of the newsprint, but same page count and everything just looks different. Yeah, it just looks smaller, but it's not. So yeah,
cool.
Yeah, it's been a good week.
You didn't decide to ride the whole Indiegogo wave that everybody seems to be all about these days.
Indiegogo wave? No. What do you mean?
No, you haven't heard about that. So I know you're setting up on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I don't know. You haven't been probably following any of the like Comicsgate stuff at all, or?
I'm trying not to get too involved, but I'm seeing bits and pieces. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, I mean, if you watch Jeff Lafferty's videos, you catch kind of what's going on. But yeah, I mean, some people have been making some crazy money over on Indiegogo, but I think it has to do more with the Comicsgate thing than anything. So I feel like those people would have done just as well on Kickstarter, if not better, personally. But I don't know. Some people are thinking that it's because of Indiegogo, but I don't think it is. But yeah, I mean, the stuff like Ethan Van Sciver made like over $500,000 on Indiegogo with his comic, and now he's doing a second Kickstarter for an alternate cover, and he's already up to something stupid like 60,000 or something.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just hoping for a couple of thousand. Far out.
So yeah, it's interesting to watch. It's entertaining to keep up with these people, but at the same time, is it Justin or Jason Brubaker, right? I always for some reason keep mixing it up. But Jason Brubaker put out a video talking about his thoughts on Comicsgate, and that what he said, that's what I feel. You know, he basically said he was saying like the way he feels about it is it's almost like when his kids get into fights and you know they can't resolve it and they just keep yelling at each other and it just gets kind of stupid, and eventually he just says, you know what, I don't care who's right, go to your room and shut up. And that's what he's saying, like, to everybody else, go to your room and shut up and make your comic. And he said, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to my room and making my comic and shutting up, because that's really what will prove anything. Make your comic.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah, that's where you're really going to shine. The people who just don't worry about all the bullshit and, you know, some people, it's not even about making comics; it's about the politics of making comics. And
Yeah.
those are the ones who just, unfortunately, they speak the loudest. But at the end of the day, the ones who actually sit there and make the comics are the ones who are gonna shine at the end, because the proof's
Yeah,
in the pudding. They're
absolutely.
actually doing the work. So, like, it's obviously an important topic, but I don't. I've never been one of those people who've been able to eloquently deliver myself, in a structural form online. So I just tend to sit back and go, look, this is happening. Unless it's directly affecting me, I'm not going to really put my input. I'm happy to say whether I'm for or against it, but I'm not the person. I'm not. I'm. It's. Saying it's not my place isn't really correct, but um, I'm no one of importance or influence to make a difference if I do say something. Um, so I don't feel the urgent need to say something unless someone drags me into it. But even then, like, I'm not going to delve into essays on the topic.
Right.
And like I said, I don't involve myself enough to know enough to talk about it anyway. I
Right.
just sort of know the bare bones of it. That's about it.
Yep. Yeah, and I think that's a pretty good policy. That's where I tend to land as well.
Hmm.
I will say one thing though, that I feel a little bit more like I want to talk about some of the stuff, just because, I mean, I'm not saying right here, but like, I don't know if I want to talk about it, but more that it's affecting me more a little bit right now, because freaking these like some of these people like started attacking alternate comics, the guy, Peterson Metis, and he's kind of devastated by it. Like he's and it's just like, it sucks because Peter Metis is out there doing some really awesome stuff for comics. He's an awesome advocate and a voice for comics, and he's such a nice guy. I met him and talked to him. He gave me all the time in the world to show him my art and talk to him about, what I should do to get better, and things like that. And he was just like, he's always been awesome. He's retweeted me when I've tweeted about certain things, and I don't know, he's just like a really awesome dude. And like, to see him being attacked by, these people who are getting all up in arms about an issue that I really think is pretty silly anyways. Like, it's not that big a deal anyways, but they're totally messing him up. And one of the big comics that he's published, Amazing Age, these guys said they're not going to publish with him anymore. Now,
Oh, right.
most of the other people are sticking with him, but it's just like, are you kidding me? Like, this, he's all for creators, and I don't, and he's nothing but a positive voice out there, and they're attacking him, and it's just like, it that kind of pisses me off.
Crazy. So
So
is this like people who are like, are they saying that he's for Comicsgate and
it's kind of, it's not exactly like a specifically Comicsgate issue, but it's the people who attack Comicsgate people are the people who are attacking him. And I don't really understand it to like 100%, but basically it has to do with, he put out his policy on social media, like on his website, and basically he doesn't support certain forms of like blocking people. Like, I guess there's ways you can block people with like an app. You can block a huge amount of people, like you could go over to like Ethan Van Sciver, who's like the big Comicsgate dude, and like block all of his followers in one swipe or whatever if you
yeah,
wanted to. So like he said he doesn't support that, because, and he doesn't want his people in his, who make comics with him to do that, because you're basically, you're taking you're basically losing a huge amount of audience that way if you're like doing a lot of that that you could reach, because whether they support Comicsgate or they're against Comicsgate, a lot of times they still will buy the stuff, and it's not so much a money grab, but like the thing is like no matter where you stand on the topic, comics are comics, and people are making fun comics, and there's no reason why people shouldn't want to read them and whatnot.
Yeah,
And I don't know. It's just
I
and
get it.
people
I
got
understand.
all up in arms about it, I guess. So
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
understand why people would want to boycott it, but in the same light, like, are you going to go to a convention, have your comic books at a stand, and then someone says, "Oh, I don't like anime or whatever," and you're going to be like, "Oh, well, if you don't like that, I'm not going to sell you my comic." Like, are you really going to be like? It really is a very similar thing. It's like I'm going to block all of these people. I don't know them. I actually, have never given them any time of day. But because they're associated with X person, I'm going to completely discommunicate with them from me, and any opportunity they would have of discovering me, and any potential sale or fan that I might get, is lost. Not to say
Right.
that they're going to become a fan. You don't know that, but to limit yourself so heavily, it seems so stupid.
Yeah. And I
I get it.
guess
Like,
the people who
yeah,
are
block the.
against it,
Sorry,
what's
go.
that?
So,
I was
like.
just yeah, go ahead. I'll let you go.
Yeah, like I get it. Block the guy that you don't like for whatever the reason is. But yeah, it does seem a bit over the top to go, I'm just going to block all of these other people because, due to association. Like they're
Right.
not follow. You don't even know why they follow this other person. They might just follow them because they really liked the comic he made. Doesn't they mean they follow him because of what he represents? It's like
Right.
I follow Donald Trump, but I follow Donald Trump because I find his tweets funny, because I just
Right.
look at them and laugh. But if someone goes, I'm going to block everyone who follows Donald Trump, like, well, you're unfollowing me for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. That's like a good analogy. Like that's exactly kind of what's happening, So as
Yeah,
far as I understand, at least.
I mean, like, you're not going to be able to really stop people from doing that. But it's a shame that people are sort of backlashing because of that. That seems really silly. Like, I understand what I can't remember his name, but the alternate comics guy. I understand where he's coming from. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And he's doing, like, he's saying that out of the best interest of the people he's invested time and money into as well. He's like, well, guys, like, you're limiting yourself. I don't want you guys to limit yourself and your reach. Don't do something silly like this. And they're backlashing and saying, oh, you're pro this guy now. Screw you. Like, well, no, that's not what I
Right.
said. I just don't want you
Yep.
guys
It's
to lose out.
yeah. And I'll be honest, like that's the best of my understanding. I'm sure there's kind of more to it, but you know, what I see and what bothers me is the guy is like nothing but an awesome dude who is
Yeah,
supporting everything that's going on in comics, and he's doing some amazing stuff. And to see him get this backlash, it just bothers me. Like,
yeah.
and I don't like it.
It's you on a bit more of a personal level too. I get that.
So, but anyways, I don't want to get too far on the comics gate thing, anyways. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what's going on.
In a month's time, it'll be all blown over anyway, and it'll be something else.
Yeah.
That's the ridiculous thing to it. It's like this is all relevant for the short term, and then it'll just be something else, and it won't matter.
Yep. That's
And like,
true.
going back to the beginning, like, yeah, it has its valid points, but at the end of the day, like, just make comics, like, make comics, support comics, and help everyone out. Doesn't matter who they are. Like, just be
Absolutely.
a good person. Don't be a dick. Like,
I know, right? That's exactly what
at the
I
end of the day, just don't be a dick.
feel. Exactly.
Should be everyone's mantra. Don't be a dick.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you going to do today? Well, I know I'm not going to be a dick. That means I'm winning.
Did you I know you're a fan of Wonton Soup and James Stokoe and stuff. Have you read the second Wonton Soup
No,
volume?
I actually thought there was only like one wonton soup, which, like, hang on. I have, I don't know how long we've got, so I'll be quick. Can I turn my screen share off? There we go. I have like this book, which is thick as all hell.
Yep.
I just assumed like that was it because it's like the collected edition.
Yeah, that's both of them
Oh, okay, cool.
because
All
there's
right.
only two. So in the beginning of the
Oh,
second one,
yeah,
which would be in the
wonton.
middle of yours,
Yeah,
yeah. So if you go to like the next couple pages, there's just like one little part, and it's so funny. There's like this like reception lady, and she's in the shape of like
a
a
dick.
dick, and it's so funny because she's like, "No, I don't want to be a dick or anything, but." So I don't know. It's just funny.
That's
Don't
amazing.
be a dick.
Just showing up on my screen there. There she is.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
amazing. Oh, that's the kind of comics I want to draw.
So speaking about that, have you read any comics?
Sadly, no. Sadly, no.
Mm.
Um, I read some like web comics. Like I've been reading a few things on like Instagram, but just like the really short form 4 panel comics.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose that sort of counts because I've been doing it more of a research purposes for Monkey Junk.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I have sort of. What about you?
Cool. I have actually been reading a lot of comics. I read
Yeah.
since we last talked, I read Wonton Soup 2. I read Bakuman, the first volume of that. I read just Zero Jumper from Alterna Comics. I read Eden from Alterna Comics. I don't know. I think there's been more stuff too. There's been a lot of stuff. I've been spending a lot of time reading, and I read Space Boy, the first volume of Space Boy. A lot
Man,
of stuff.
all this and you've been
Yeah.
creating comics like crazy, man. Like, did you discover like a new version of time that no one else knows about, or?
Well, the version is getting up on the weekends and spending the whole day making comics, basically,
Yeah.
instead of like doing other stuff, like, trying to work on maybe illustrations or whatever. I don't know. Like, I get distracted, and I'll be honest, like, and part of the other thing also is I got sick of not making comics, and like every day I work on comics. I'd say this like every week, we talk, but every day, I work on comics, and you know, it's just like I feel like I'm not getting anywhere. I feel like I'm not actually making comics, and
Yep.
it's just so frustrating. So I finally got to the point where I'm just like, you know what? I don't care. Like, I'm not going to worry about the writing so much. I'm going to do the best I can, but I'm just going to simplify it down and just start making comics. And I kind of came up with this thing last week. I'm going to make one comic, 5 pages or more, one comic every month, and put it out on Patreon. I restarted my Patreon. Um, and it's just for $1 a month, people can get to read whatever comic I make that month, and that's gonna force me to not spend a million years on concept art and on trying to figure out the story and trying to get caught up in like the crazy details and stuff. I think that that's a good thing to do. I'm not saying that I shouldn't, like, people shouldn't do that and shouldn't spend a lot of time preparing and creating characters and worlds, but I don't have time to spend a year trying to create a world anymore. Like, I need to make comics. I need to get stuff out. And if I'm going to make any dent in any kind of career or whatever I want to do. And I like that way of making comics anyways. Like the Marvel method has always been super inspirational to me. And other methods that are like super quick and kind of creating that pulp material, like really quickly. Shonen Jump, and just the way Japanese people make comics, in their culture. Like, I mean, they get a 20-page issue out every week sometime, like for some of these comics. Like, that's just crazy. And I know that they have teams, but that doesn't mean like their teams aren't necessarily super huge all the time. Like the team might be like 3 people or something. Sometimes it might be a lot more, but they work their asses off, and it's like in the detail some of these pages and panels have, like, it's not like they're scrimping on that either. Like, so it's like, I don't know. I mean, sometimes they might be doing like a looser style, but that's what I'm trying to do. I'm super inspired by Sun Bakery by Corey Lewis, which you can tell he does that really fast. But it's just, he still pops out all these stories. He has all these ideas and he wants to get them out. And that's how I feel. So like, that's a huge inspiration for me right now.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of letting my stories just be like bullet lists with some dialogue, and kind of making up the dialogue and writing as I'm drawing the comic as well, and kind of creating characters on the page. And yeah, I can kind of show some of my progress, what I've been doing. This is the first page kind of finished. I mean, it's not 100. I got to do more lettering, and I'll probably go in and do like shading and stuff, but it's not like, the most amazing thing you've ever seen, but it's like I'm getting comics done. Like,
Yeah.
and
It's good
so
to
I'm
see
just
you
super
actually
excited.
It's good to see you actually playing with elements like perspective, like building an
Yeah.
environment, things like, at least it's not just real generic, character faces and things like that. You're actually putting a bit of time and effort into it, which is awesome to see.
Yeah. Actually, that was the second page. This is the first page. Um, and then I'm just starting to work on the third page here, which I'm trying to zoom out. This is gonna, I'm kind of tackling the harder pages first. I think it'll go quicker once I get to the action pages, but I doing my first 9-panel grid I've ever done right here. So this is gonna be fun.
Oh, nice.
um, and then everything else is mapped out. I'm just kind of doing thumbnails on the actual pages. These are like the more actiony pages right here. This is called Darby Cufflink, um, Gentleman Avenger of Comics, and this is the cover I'm working on, which is an
Cool.
homage. Yeah, it's
That's
way more
amazing.
detailed than the actual comic, but it's like it's an homage to I have the comic right here. It's Marvel Comics presents 92, the Wolverine cover, because there's 2 covers on each of those issues and whatnot. But
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, that's mean. Good job.
thanks. Yeah, no, I'm excited about it, and I mean, the lettering I still got to work on that. It might not look like that, but yeah, I don't know. Just trying to find like a loose, fast style and go with it, even if it doesn't look amazing yet. But I'm working towards, with each comic, I'm gonna hopefully get more and more to the point where I actually like the artwork I'm creating. I mean, I don't mind it, but I definitely want to get better. That's for sure.
This is great because this is going to make you progress in leaps and bounds, dude, by doing this. Like, seeing how many characters you've drawn on just on that bottom panel that I can see now, um,
Yeah.
that's going to create exponential growth. Just forcing yourself to draw. I mean, you've had to force yourself to draw like 5 or 6 characters in a walking pose, and you've tried to make them all different in some way. Like, that's learning. That's working your ass off. Um, so I can't wait to see like what the third, fourth, fifth comics are going to look like in comparison to these ones, and even little things like I'm looking at it now and like looking at your panel bordering and like your lettering balloons. are pretty rough. But I
Mhm.
imagine like you'll pick up on these things over time as well. Like, lettering's hard enough. Like doing the whole comic plus lettering is extremely hard. So, it's all just gonna.
Yeah, I'm definitely learning a lot, and like you said, those characters. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I'm definitely like learning a lot, and like you said, those characters and getting into some perspective stuff. I mean, a lot of it is I'm also learning how to use Clip Studio Paint a lot. A lot of things I didn't do in my just basic illustrations on there, so that's
Yeah.
cool. And yeah, I mean, the characters was a big part of it. And like the thing is this takes place in like a future world where the normal fashion of the day has become like cosplay or whatever. And
Yeah.
he's like the only one who still likes to just dress up in a nice suit or whatever. But he's also the only one who actually reads the comics that they're cosplaying. So he's like frustrated with them and stuff. So it's gonna be a fun, stupid little story
Yeah.
that I think people will dig. And
Even
um,
that's like a massive challenge, like having to draw every single character in costume. Far out. Like having to come up with so
yeah,
many new costumes all the time.
it's fun. It's fun, but it is a little bit of a challenge. The biggest challenge was playing with the perspective. I definitely flubbed it to a certain degree, but also I kind of did like a photo overlay with this panel. So I kind of cheated. I just kind of mapped out the basic like
Yep.
um, just the basic lines of the buildings. I didn't copy the buildings or anything, but it just helped me with the perspective for that one panel.
No, that's perfect.
But then,
That's exactly what I did for page one. I'll see if I can find it. Um, like working on Monkey Junk, I did the exact same thing using photos. Actually, funny thing with this first page of Monkey Junk, my hard drive crashed, and
yeah,
this original file got corrupted. Luckily, I had a JPEG version of it, and I had to Frankenstein the shit out of it to make this page workable. So yeah, I had to spend a bit of money getting a new hard drive this week too.
oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So, but yeah, these the top two left panels on this page. This is page one.
Yep.
Both of those were heavily referenced from photos. Like I don't know how to draw this junk. So like the
Yeah.
best way to do it is like this one, like this panel here. Like I fudged things after the fact, but I used the original photo as a base to
Right.
make the changes. So
That's
yeah,
cool. Yeah. I mean, these are things that sometimes I used to be like kind of against, especially for my own work, but I don't know, you get into this place of wanting to get the story out, and it's like as long as you don't go over certain lines, like to me it's like the art is the storytelling more than anything. So if I do a couple little cheats that I think are okay, I think it's all right. But
yeah.
yeah,
The way I see it too is like if you have to draw a boat. Like you could draw a generic boat off the top of your head, but if you want to draw a specific, like a speed boat, you're going to have to reference it anyway. You've got to find a photo or multiple photos to learn how to draw it, and then you're going to have to practice drawing it to get it right within the comic. But like you said, when you are time poor, sometimes it works out to use that as a direct reference and then just make small tweaks and changes as you see fit.
yep. Cool, man. Well, I've already pretty much run out of time, but let's quickly go through what our goals are for next week. And also, I do see you guys in the chat. Thanks for hanging out, Fue and James and stuff. So
Thank you guys. That's awesome. I haven't got my chat open, unfortunately.
yeah,
um, yeah, this week for me is just going to be more of the usual. I want to finish one page of Monkey Junk, which is the page that I'm working on now, so I can
hmm
post it next week for Patreon and get the Kickstarter launched maybe by Sunday, which would be cool for issue one. And I'm just going to keep working on the children's book illustrations. So
Nice.
yeah, nothing too hefty for me. Just the usual garb.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'm just
I'll try and read a comic.
yes, do that. Yeah, I'm gonna just keep rocking and rolling on this comic. I do want to finalize all my commissions. I only have two more to finish, and I want to send this stuff out. That's the problem. I haven't sent some. I only sent two packages out so far.
Yeah.
So I want to do that, but also I really want to, just keep making progress on these pages. And it's tough because I just had 3 days of kind of working for hours and hours and hours on it. And now I have to like fit it into like an hour, maybe 2 hours a day,
Yeah.
until I get the weekend again. But, I don't know. I am realizing that it's going to be really hard to get one comic out a month. I mean, this one's like 10 pages, and I did do the harder pages first. So that's probably why it's taking longer. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I might do the next one with physical pages, and I might just kind of go back and forth from digital to physical. We'll see. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just want to get more progress done on this.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even if you went over a month for 10 pages, like, I don't think anyone's going to slam you for it. Like, as long as people can see that you're working on it, like, for you,
Yeah,
for your sake, like, that, I think that's important enough.
absolutely.
Like, yeah.
Cool.
Sick. Well, it should be a good
Cool,
week.
man.
Definitely good to catch up with you again, man. It was a bit weird not doing last week's episode, so I was definitely more pumped to come back this week rather
Yeah.
than that daunting. Have I done enough to to update this week? So yeah,
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better, and you're still getting so much progress. It's exciting that you got that you got the proofs in and stuff.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, and
awesome.
yeah. Hopefully, a Kickstarter will be following very soon.
Hmm. Awesome. All right, man. Well, we do have to sign off. So everybody, you can find my stuff at donkeyjawprojects.com. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at marshalllee_DJP. And you can also find me at patreon.com/donkeyjawprojects
Woohoo!
if you want to read this comic and get special updates and stuff. What about you, man?
You can find me at Chris McQuinlan Art on all of the main social medias. And for anything Monkey Junk related, which is a lot at the moment, you guys can check Monkey Junk out on Instagram at Monkey Junk Comic, and same in Facebook as well. It's just the same stuff. If you're not on the Instagram but you prefer Facebook, and Patreon, where I'm posting all the comic pages, which is patreon.com/Chris McQuinlan Art.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right, man. It's good catching up, and good luck on next week, man.
You too, man. I'll catch you in 7 days.
Absolutely. And thanks everybody for watching. We'll check back with you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Later.
Bye.